Okay, so we're at Sparkle School lesson number 2, and what we're going to talk about is how to prepare for media opportunities. Wait, you mean we can't just pitch them right now? No, you have to stop. Take a step back. You've already decided you want to go after major stories, and that's great, but there's a lot of tools that you need to get into place first before you want to reach out to any journalists. So where do we start? Number 1, let's start with your website. Your website is the number 1 touch point for your brand. The dirty little secret of a lot of these media stories is that many of the journalists will never actually experience your product. They may never set foot in your restaurant. They may never visit your destination. So your website is the only way they are ever going to experience what you have to offer. Your website needs to be your proudest shining moment. Everyone in today's world has a website. A Facebook page is not good enough. You do not want to send a journalist to a website that's mediocre. Your website needs to be the best it can be. And so if you know that you're about to overhaul your website, don't reach out to the media yet. Wait until your website is perfect. Wait until your website is a digital version of your product. The proudest thing that you could show somebody, short of having them step foot into your 4 walls. You get 1 chance with journalists. You don't get 2. So if you send them to a website that's mediocre at best, they're not going to send the whole world to your website. And what do I mean by that? The Wall Street Journal is not going to tell your story and list your website within the story and share that with the world when your website's mediocre. Just because you have a great product, if you can't communicate that on your website, the game is over. Make sure your website is user-friendly and not difficult to navigate. Make sure that if and when you land that major placement, when you get on Oprah's Favorite Things list, that it's easy for the consumer to navigate and to check out. Because if you lose that consumer once they've gone to your website, they're gone forever. The second thing that's extremely important, and the number 1 reason that people won't get featured in a national magazine, is photography. Your photos need to be beautiful. Your photos need to be 300 DPI and considered high resolution. You cannot be shooting your photos with your iPhone. You need to hire a photographer who specializes in your industry, whether it's travel photography, food photography, product photography. There are photographers that specialize in each one of these. Just because your sister-in-law is a photographer doesn't mean that she specializes in your area. You need to spend the money and invest in great quality photography. That photography should be shown on your website as well. You should be proud of that photography because that may be your only chance again to get a media interested. And once they're interested and they want to know more about you, the next question they are going to ask is, do you have high-res photos available? And if your answer is no, the magazines and the newspapers in today's world do not have the budgets to send out a photographer. You're going to lose the opportunity and you're going to lose it to your number 1 competitor who does have the photography available. The same goes for footage. So if you represent a destination or a great chef, maybe you want to sit down and invest in shooting some great video. Having video available is crucial to getting broadcast opportunities. So if you want to be featured on the Today Show or on Fox and Friends, or even to be able to send in a clip to be considered for one of your chefs to appear on one of these networks, you need to have footage to show them of what your destination or your chef performs like on television. Again, invest in these things on the front end so that as soon as a journalist asks, your answer is, yes, I have that. Here it is. The third thing you need to be willing to do is to offer freebies. So I know we talked about how none of this is going to cost you anything, but it's going to cost you a little bit. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that if you have a restaurant, be willing to say to a journalist, come in and try our new dinner menu. It's on us. If you represent a destination, be willing to say, yeah, we'll bring you down here and we'll put you up for a couple of days and we want you to experience everything we have to offer. If you offer a really great product, like a great pair of jeans, be willing to send your jeans to a journalist at absolutely no charge. Journalists are working, again, on very tight budgets, which is why they can't afford photography either. But they don't have the budgets in today's world to be able to fly themselves out, to be able to pay for expensive dinners, to be able to try a fancy new wine. They just can't do it. And so if you're willing to foot the bill for that, the payoff can be exponential. Okay. So here's the biggest one, a digital media kit. I know this sounds so scary, but it's not. A digital media kit is essentially the who, what, when, where, why of your business, all packaged into a nice little bow that's ready to send to a journalist. So what goes in there? First and foremost, the background information about your company. What's your 3-sentence paragraph? Your 30-second elevator pitch? What is that? That should be the first thing that you hit them with. Then maybe you want to include some bios about the top-level executives at your business. Maybe it's the CEO, maybe it's the founder, maybe it's your chef. Whoever the important people are that are involved in a day-to-day operation of your business, we want to know those people. Who are the people that are going to be talking to the media? We want bios of those people. We want to include some photos. So those beautiful photos that we talked about, let's show them right up front in this document. Let's let journalists know these are the type of photos we have available. If you work with a restaurant, maybe you want to offer a couple of signature recipes. Show them what you can do. Show them what your chef is capable of. Are there any accolades, any major awards that are really on a national scale going to catch somebody's interest? Let's include those too. So how do you package this all? It's quite simple. Make a Word document. Lay it out however you want, and all you have to do at the end is save it as a PDF. PDF is the universal document that no matter what kind of a computer, no matter what type of program somebody's opening on, it's going to look the way that you put it together. If you just save it as a Word document, it's going to get jumbled. Everybody's working on a different version of Word nowadays, so you never want to save it as a Word document. Save your digital media kit as a PDF, and you'll have it ready to go as soon as somebody asks for more information about your company. I find the hardest thing for any business to do is to give me that elevator pitch. So let's step back and go back to that for just a moment. You have 2 to 3 sentences to grab the media's attention, and I promise we'll get to more of that later, but I want you to focus on what I just said. 2 to 3 sentences to grab the media's attention. This is not necessarily the standard corporate boilerplate that goes at the end of the old press releases that you used to put together that's very dry, very stale. No. This needs to be engaging and exciting and make me say, yes, I want to feature you right now. Tell me more. That's the point of your 2 to 3 sentence pitch here. So think about your business. What's the most exciting thing going on right now? What's happening today that everyone should know about, but also that gives us a little bit of background information about your business? That's the hard part here, right? 2 to 3 sentences to make it relevant today, but to give me enough information that I still know who you are as a business. This is going to be your worksheet at the end of this course. We're going to come up with that 2 to 3 sentence pitch. It may not be the same as the pitch that you would give to an investor. It may not be the same as the pitch that you would give to a new board member, but this is the pitch that you're going to go out and sell a journalist on why they should feature you. The last thing I want you to do to prepare for major opportunities is look at your competitors. The best thing you can do is say, who are the top 3 people in the same breath as us? When you ask others, what destinations are you thinking about going to for spring break? And if you're in the consideration set, who are the other 3? When you ask people, oh, what restaurant are you going to go to on Friday night? What are the 4 that they might list? Those are your top competitors. And so what I want you to do, find out where they're being featured. What media outlets are talking about them, and how are they talking about them? That's the best way to figure out where you can be featured too. And this is some homework. This takes a long time to do. And we're going to dig a little bit more into how to look for media opportunities in a future lesson. But I want you to think about that because it is one of the things that you need to prepare for before you start your outreach. Where are my competitors being featured? Where do I want to be? Who do I want to be when I grow up? Maybe they're not a competitor yet. Maybe you want them to be a competitor. So how do you get to that point? That's your homework. Let's look at one great example of why we do all of this before we reach out to media. I was contacted by the Today Show because they were doing a segment about last-minute summer getaways. Well, you want to talk about last minute? I got this email from a reporter at the Today Show when I woke up one morning around 7 a.m. That segment aired less than 48 hours later. There were no second chances there to say, we don't have the footage that you need, we don't have the images that you need. My point is, when I got that email, they needed everything immediately. So, why do you do your homework? Because when a journalist finally asks for the information, you don't have time to pull it together. You don't have time to stage a photo shoot or to stage a video shoot. You have to have it readily available. If we didn't have that footage ready to send them, we would not have been included in that segment that went out to millions of households nationwide. We got covered on the Today Show because within minutes, we had them everything that they needed ready to go for the segment that aired 2 days later. You don't get time in this world, so you have to do all the homework on the front end so that when the journalists finally give you the green light, you're ready to go. So, your worksheet for this lesson, we're going to work on putting together a digital media kit and the components that go in that, and most importantly, your 2 to 3 sentence pitch boilerplate.